printed out the plan. I did change a few things from what I showed in the last video. I kind of reconfigured the switches up here, and I think I was able to get stuff to fit in a little bit better. So today, I went down to Yodobashi Camera and bought some track. The Roundtable, the Turntable, I don't know why I keep saying Roundtable. The Turntable and the Roundhouse, I ended up ordering those off of Amazon.co.jp because they were just a lot cheaper online. So those will come in the next day or so, and then we'll have this all combined and put together. I've got everything laid out here on the table, so let's take a look. We got, I guess I'll start with the turntable first. We got the controller here. So this is actually how you operate the turntable. Direction, stop, go. So similar to their throttle controls. I'm guessing this here is the power transformer, which is much smaller and more compact than the big huge transformers that came with the power supplies for the throttle controls. Oh yeah, is this universal? Please be universal. Yeah, it's universal, so this will work back in the States. So it looks like here is the control cable, and we got some of the track pieces that will be coming off of the turntable there. And so we got a few accessory pieces that I'll have to install. And see, oh, there's some track pieces here too. Let's see what happens with, oh, those are the bumpers. And then finally, we have the turntable itself. Let's take a look here. So, okay, that looks pretty, oh, I see how they did this. So yeah, so it runs right underneath the track is what they have going on here. So yeah, it is very, very compact. And I had read that they did that on purpose. So I'm guessing the motor might actually be in the table itself. Because I know, yeah, it looks like it. So it must be like some type of connector here that can spin, brings power up into the turntable. And so my guess is there's a little motor in here. That would be my guess. And then you can see, it's probably not coming out real well in the camera because it's, you know, I have it off over there. But there's like basically grooves here. So I'm guessing there's a gear that runs along that, and that's what controls the movement of the table. So that's pretty neat. And yeah, so the track, the power is going to come in off the track. So I'm guessing you connect into there. So yeah, that's pretty compact. That looks like that'll work really well. So pop this open. And we got some labels here. So this is all pretty much designed for Japanese labels, but might be able to change that up later. Of course, this is a Japanese train layout, so probably will hook that up. And yeah, it's pretty much completely built. And it looks like it comes apart. So we have the bottom piece here. So the track is just literally just sitting here. And then the roundhouse itself just sits on top of that. And yeah, it is completely built. Okay, so you can see here I've got the track laid out for the most part. In the other clip I took a couple days ago, I showed that I had purchased some extra track and had laid it all out here. And so pretty much it looks like I have stuff lined up pretty well. I think I'm going to do that with the turntable because I want the power to come up pretty close to over here so that I'm still near my power or my control rack, shelf, whatever you want to call it. But I don't want this sticking out all the way here because it pushes the turntable too far back. So that's kind of where I have it spaced now. And then I'm going to have to put this turnout here. So that came in a package. I didn't really bother going over that because it's a turnout, and I don't know, I just didn't think that would be all that super interesting. But the thing with this turnout in particular, and you'll see this when you buy the track. So it comes with this track here. So if I can show you. So see how the track is like cut on the edge? That is because if you look right here where, let me get that to focus. Hello, focus. There we go. Yeah. Alright. You can see how close these tracks are, and there's not enough room for all the road bed. So what you have to do is you actually either have to have a piece that's like this, where it's already been moved, so you can put the road bed of a regular piece here, or you have to cut your piece of track. And I already have figured out I'm going to be putting an R249 15 degree here, so I am actually going to have to cut this piece here because I cannot cut the turnout that it connects into. I do not want to do that. What I need to do here is figure out where I need to cut this piece of track. So I'm going to go ahead, I got a little permanent marker here, and I'm going to basically set this so it lines up, and it looks like I'm just going to have to cut like that. So that will be my cut right there. You can see that little. So I want to cut this, but I want to be very careful not to cut into the rail. So I think I'm going to hold it like this. And I'm looking underneath in the structure. There's this little piece here in the middle, but I'm not going to run that. I might end up cutting into this rib here a little bit, but that should be okay. So I'm going to hold it up at an angle like this, and then just carefully start the cut. Alright, let's test fit this. So yeah, that actually came out pretty good. You can see it's pretty close to right where it needs to be. Alright, so this should fit like that. Depending on where exactly I decide to place it. Yeah, so that will all fit in there. It's going to be a bit tight, but it will all fit in there. And I'm kind of excited because this is the first roundhouse and turntable I've ever owned. I never had room for this on my HO layout back in the States. Alright, so let's figure out where we're going to drop these power cables. So I find that with these power cables, using, which I just double checked and measured out, I believe is a 12 millimeter drill bit, allows you to get this part right here to actually fit through the hole. So now with these, which is nice, is they actually have this separate connector, so they just connect right into the turnout. But some of the turnouts, the wider ones, or I guess the narrower ones, the wire is just soldered or connected right into the turnout, and there isn't this clip that you can disconnect it. So that means that this piece here has to go through the hole. That just clips in like that. So you want to make sure that your wire, the hole is going to line up with this part of the switch here. So I'll pop that out here for a second. So I found the easiest way is just to set it down, take a permanent marker, and feel for where the switch mechanism is at. So it's right here. And drop that down, and right there is where you need to put the hole. So I got that hole, and then I need to do the same here. So we're going to leave everything connected so everything stays lined up nice and neat. And once again, I'll feel for where the little cavity is. It's right there. And looking right about. I went ahead and cleared everything from underneath the layout. I'll have to do some vacuuming after a little bit, but I'm going to go ahead and drill. And yeah, I did change my clothing since the last couple clips. Figured maybe I should, not be in work clothing when I do this. Although, interesting story today at work, a guy came to. Oh, that's reversed. Okay. Oh, and I got to turn the power up. So a guy came in today at work, at the school I work at, to do some repair and maintenance work on one of the copiers in the teacher's room. And the guy was wearing a full suit. And I guess that's Japan for you, because wearing a full suit while doing that type of work is not something you're going to see in America. Most people are going to wear some type of work outfit. And so let's go ahead and vacuum off that. Yeah, always check underneath your board before you drill, because you drill right through a wire, and that's always a pain. And it'll be a little bit I need to vacuum up underneath. Okay, so it's been a little bit, and in between these different shots, I've been actually working on reconfiguring the control shelf. I decided, thinking ahead, I think I will eventually put the yard tracks on a separate block, so I will eventually have to get another controller, and then that way I can mess around with the yard and still have trains running on the main line, instead of having the inside track control all of the yard stuff. So because of that, I figured, well, since I have this thing apart, I would play around with it. And you can see it. I can get 3 of these controller boxes to fit on the bottom shelf. So there's room for the 3rd controller box, the 3rd throttle, once I get a chance to purchase that and set that up. That will be a while down the road, because I spent quite a bit of money on these roundhouse and turntable expansion. But it is now all set up, so I won't have to remove everything, and I got the wires kind of looped around the way I want them. And you can see I went ahead and put the block controls, attached them to the turnout controls. So that's all now on the top. The bottom controller on the left there will still control the inside track, and eventually when I put one on the right, that will control the yards. So that's how I did all of that. Next I want to show you how you can add more tracks to the turntable here. So I was looking through the manual, and so you'll see I popped it open here, but there was this little plastic piece that just sits in there, and you just literally pop it up. You can see there's a little groove where you can put a flathead screwdriver in there. And there's a little screw. So all you have to do is unscrew that. And it pops right out. Okay, so that's pretty easy. And now I will go ahead and put one of the expansion pieces in there. What I decided to do is, this is going to be, the roundhouse is going to attach here, and this will keep this wire connector coming out towards the front. And then what I will do is I might move this over, because the back area I'll have a couple tracks running off that I can use for just parking locomotives and what have you. So you just go ahead and put that screw in there, and then this pops in, cover that up, and there you go. So that's all you have to do. I'm starting to figure out where I'm going to set everything, but you'll see I went ahead and drilled a hole here, and the reason I did that is because I am going to bring up another powered rail joiner right here, and this will power this inside track going into the turntable. And 2 reasons I'm doing that. One, because I want to have good connectivity in this section, and 2, If I do go ahead later on and put this on a separate circuit, this will be the power lead into the yard for that. So I went ahead and did that. Also, another plus is the wire here will kind of hold this track in place and keep it from sliding around. At this time, I have not permanently glued or nailed anything down, and I don't intend to, just because I don't want this layout to be 100% permanent. But what's really nice, and I haven't really mentioned this in the other video, but you'll see around the edge, there's this aluminum strip, so right here, and that makes a little bit of a lip, and the track actually perfectly fits just inside that lip. So that lip kind of holds the outside track from sliding around, and so that kind of keeps everything in place, and then just running wires from underneath keeps other things from sliding around. So that's what I did with that. I'm getting closer to having this thing hooked up and ready to go. So now I have it pretty much laid out the way I want, and I think I figured out that the middle bar here that I was concerned about in my last video, I think I can actually get it lined up so that you'll see there's like a little arch here, a little bridge, and this will sit underneath it. So that might not get in the way of this turntable. So the next step is going to be, after I make sure everything fits here, is I'm going to go ahead and drill a hole here and run the cable through it. So I'm looking at this cable. I think if I just angle it like that, I should be able to get this to go through the 12 millimeter hole and then just fan out like that to come up. So it'll fan out like that, and that should work. So yeah, so that'll be the next thing I got to do. Alright, so I've done a little bit more playing around here, and what I've realized is this track here, it actually has a little foot coming down right on this bar. So if you see it, to get it flat, it bends the table. So I think I'm going to have to do is I'm actually going to have to cut. I'm going to cut down or trim down the little legs here and cut those little feet, and they were actually very easy to cut. And you can see there's a little bit of give here still. I think it's just partially because this side of the table's a little bit higher up than this side. It's always been a little bit of a problem on this layout. But yeah, so that cut really easily, and so that's going to work pretty well. I think this is how I'm going to have it set up. So I'm actually going to move this piece here and put it over here, and I can have 7 tracks. I do only have room for 1 roundhouse here, but I can have a couple sidings and some tracks running off here that I can store locomotives on. And there really isn't a lot of room on this side. So for now, I think I'm going to keep everything over here where I have more room, and maybe leave this open to put a building or something. See, I went ahead and I drilled the hole for the wires. I got that coming through. I got everything pretty much lined up where I want, and I ran the wires through and hooked it up to the controller. So let's see how this thing works. So you got the direction knob just like on the throttle control, and then I got the lever that I push, and it should start rotating. So it starts moving. I stop it, you can see it slows down. And here's something locked, so there must be a lock mechanism that keeps the table from moving. So that's actually pretty neat how they've designed this. This is I definitely say it was worth the price. I mean, it was expensive, but it's doing what it's supposed to do, and that's pretty awesome. So let's see, let's go the other way. Yeah, that thing works really good. I finished putting stuff together, and this is what it looks like now. So it's almost complete. You can see that I have a few extender tracks that go off that way, back behind the roundhouse. So you can see I got a couple of tracks there. So I got 3 in the roundhouse plus 2 that can handle something substantially. Actually 4 more if you park them on the curve section there, or the apple pie slice section, whatever you want to call it, the part that's coming right out of the turntable. So yeah, let's go ahead and see if this thing all works. Locomotive does not run very smoothly. And there we go. Our first steam locomotive parked in the roundhouse. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you found it interesting and informative. I had a lot of fun making it, and I hope to continue making videos about model trains and real railroads here in Japan. So if you find those things interesting, please go ahead and subscribe to my channel. And once again, thanks for watching.